In this episode, we talk about a man who has come into the spotlight for stepping in to stop a Hindu mob that was harassing a 70-year-old man. We also break down the key moments from Chief Minister Mamata Banerjee's appearance before the Supreme Court yesterday, where she challenged the ongoing special intensive revision. But we begin today by talking about how Chief Minister Himanta Biswa Sarma has been targeting the Muslim community in Assam. Hi, I'm Shashank Bhargava, and you're listening to Three Things, the Indian Express news show. In the lead-up to the assembly elections in Assam, the rhetoric targeting Bengali-origin Muslims in the state, pejoratively referred to as Miyas, has become increasingly exclusionary and deeply divisive. The latest controversy involves Chief Minister Himanta Biswa Sarma, who recently asked BJP workers to file complaints against the inclusion of Bengali-origin Muslims in voter lists and called on the public at large to trouble the community. These remarks come at a time when there are allegations of widespread objections being filed by third parties against existing voters during the ongoing special revision of electoral rolls in the state. To understand these allegations better and to examine how the Chief Minister has been targeting the community, we are joined by the Indian Express's Sukrita Baruah, who reports on Assam for the paper. Sukrita, to understand the context behind what Himanta Biswa Sarma said, we should first talk about the ongoing special revision going on in Assam, which is different from the special intensive revision, SIR, taking place everywhere else. So start here. Tell us what has been happening during this exercise in the state.
So, Assam is not having an SIR because there has been an NRC process which has been done, but it has not yet been taken to its logical conclusion. So, the Election Commission said, okay, what we're going to do instead, until the NRC is done, we will have a special revision of the electoral rolls. And according to our state CEO officials here, they say that this is basically a modified version of the normal summary revision. So, you know that there's a continuous summary revision, that new voters are added every year, dead voters are removed, people who shift are removed. So the added component of rigor in the special revision was that through much of December, the BLOs, they went from home to home in their respective areas to physically verify whether the voters are there, and if there are any new voters, they identified them. If they found that, voters in the list are dead or if they passed away, they flagged these things. And after this was done, a draft was released, but these changes were not incorporated. And following that, there was a claims and objections process. So during a claims and objections process, people can formally go to the election register officers and say that, okay, such and such is my relative, they have passed away. So they fill a form and submit it. And that's the due process that is followed. Or, I can go to the election commission, to the election registration officer and fill the relevant form to say that I am a new voter. So you fill the form for your inclusion. Now, there's another form which is there, which is the Form 7, which can be filed by any person who is from the same constituency. And you can object to the inclusion of a person in the voter list, or you can, ask for file a complaint for the deletion of somebody from the voter list. And there are a set of grounds for that, such as that the person has died, or that they have permanently shifted from there, or that they are not Indian citizens, and so on.
Right, and this is how BLOs often get to know about these things, whether a person has relocated or if they've passed away.
Yeah, and technically it can be anybody, but oftentimes it's like someone from your family or, someone on your behalf. So when these complaints are submitted by a third party, then the people who have been objected to receive notices summoning them for hearings. So they are supposed to go for a hearing based on this complaint, which will determine whether they remain in the voter list or are removed. Okay. And in those hearings, even the person who has objected to them is supposed to be present. Now, during the course of this, huge numbers of hearing notices went out. In fact, I had also counted the number of such complaints in some constituencies where alarm was raised over this. For example, in this assembly constituency called Borkhetri, which is in Nolbari district in Assam, there had been alarm raised about huge numbers of objections. So I went through the number of objections and I found that there were a total of 15,490 objections filed in this constituency. And the total number of voters are 2.26 lakhs. So objections had been filed against 6.8% of the electors in the voter list, right? So you had these huge numbers of voters, people lined up in the hearing centers. And I looked up, about this a little bit. And, I did a story about this one particular booth in Nagaon district, where one individual, whose name was Vishal Roy, had filed objections against 64 people, and they were all Muslims in this constituency. This is a Muslim majority area and constituency. And I spoke to multiple people who had been issued notices there and who had gone for hearings. The grounds on which objections had been filed against them was that they were dead. But they were very much alive because I spoke to them. And amongst the people against whom such false objections had been filed was the BLO himself, Mr. Nuruddin. And I spoke to him and I asked him, who is this person? He said, I don't know, because there are also party appointed booth level agents who work with the BLOs to assist them in this process. And he said that this individual is not any of the BLAs who has worked with me. He said that in his booth, this individual had filed complaints against 64 people on the grounds that they're dead or shifted. And all of these people are very much alive. And this is just the case of one polling booth, right? And such complaints have come from across polling booths. In fact, because so many people had turned up for hearings based on these complaints in central Assam's Nagaon district, which is the Muslim majority district, the DC even suspended hearings in 3 assembly constituencies because he said that there were so many people that the infrastructure was not enough to support these many people and people were having a really hard time. So they suspended it until they could further develop the infrastructure.
Right, and this is when members from opposition parties, particularly the Congress, they started raising alarm bells about this, saying that this was an attempt to remove a large number of Muslim voters from electoral rolls. And this is what brings us to Himanta Biswa Sarma's comments, because he was asked about this, reporters confronted him. Tell us, what exactly did he say?
Okay, so he just, said outright, yes, I have ordered it. It is BJP workers who are doing it, and they're doing it on my directions. Because with these complaints, the term he uses Miyas, which is a term that he used pejoratively to refer to Bengali-origin Muslims of Assam. So, because of these complaints, they're having to run around, they're getting harassed, they're getting troubled, which is what everyone should do. People should trouble Miyas. It is my duty, my responsibility, like this is me speaking as him, to give trouble to Miyas, and everyone should do it. And then he told the reporter that even, you all should do it. Don't do stories sympathizing with Miyas, and we should trouble them in our own ways. If a rickshawala who is a Miya asks you for 5 rupees as the fare, pay 4 rupees. We should trouble them as much as possible so that they leave the state and go.
Okay, so that's the Chief Minister explicitly telling people to harass the Muslim community so that they reach a point where they are compelled to leave the state.
Yeah, his claim was that the Miyas should know that the Assamese nation or the Assamese people, race, whatever, the word that's used is Homia Jati, is alive and thriving, and that they are resisting against the Miyas and that they haven't surrendered. So that is why people should harass them in as many ways as possible. These were a set of statements he made at one function. And, he attends multiple functions in a day and he speaks to reporters on the sidelines of these events. So every time he was questioned by reporters, he doubled down on this. Then he said, this is just a special revision exercise. So we are taking efforts to ensure that some amount of Miyas can't vote in this election, but this is just provisional. But when an SIR takes place in Assam, an SIR has taken place in Bihar or is taking place in Rajasthan, West Bengal. So when the SIR takes place in Assam, we have to get the names of 4 to 5 lakh Miyas deleted from the voter rolls. In fact, Miyas should not even vote in Assam. They should vote in Bangladesh. So these were sets of statements that he has made, which have provoked, understandably very sharp reactions from various quarters across the country at this point of time.
And Sukrita, here you have individuals filing false complaints against these voters, right? Claiming they are dead or have moved away. Surely that's punishable under the law, right?
Yeah, filing a false objection is a punishable offense. It entails up to a year of imprisonment. So after these kind of bulk objections, various district administrations put up notices saying that, it's wrong. We are going to take action against people who are filing false and bulk objections.
And after these complaints are filed, like you mentioned, people are supposed to appear for these hearings. How hard does it become for someone to do that?
So the main issue, of course, like people were troubled and they were panicked because of this. The main issue is the notice, like the duration, like, if they're told to turn up that day itself. Or like I spoke to one elderly gentleman who was amongst those people against whom a false notice had been filed that he's dead. And he was traveling in West Bengal at that time. And he tried to send his son to appear on his behalf. But that was not accepted. And the son was told that no, they have to turn up themselves and, things. So then he had to travel back and go. So, that element is always there. Again, like I said, these objections, they're still being processed. In fact, February 2nd, which is the day we are recording, is the last date for the disposal of the claims and objections. And the electoral list is going to be published on 10th February. So we are yet to see the extent to which this will be reflected. There is the hearings process which is there, right, to kind of sift through these false allegations and everything. So we will find out on February 10th the extent to which this may have affected, or if this has affected the actual outcomes at all.
And when confronted with these allegations, Himanta Biswa Sarma has, of course, doubled down. But tell us more about how the opposition has pushed back on this issue and how far have they gone to mobilize support around it.
So here the vote chori refrain that we've heard across different states is one that has been mobilized here as well. And Assam Congress President Gaurav Gogoi has also hit out at the Election Commission. And in fact, what various opposition leaders are now, they're pouncing on this to say that, the Chief Minister himself has proven in their language that the ECI is, I quote, a puppet of the BJP or of the government. And Gogoi has questioned the silence of the ECI because, the Chief Minister has made these statements. So that is where it is. We've seen that, this kind of narrative has not necessarily helped the opposition as it's not worked as an electoral strategy. So I think they have responded to the statements made by the Chief Minister as unconstitutional and so on. But whether this has any bearing as an electoral issue, I'm not very sure.
And Sukrita, after the Chief Minister made this statement, the Delhi-based social activist Harsh Mandar, he filed a complaint against Sarma. Could you talk about what this complaint says and how has the Chief Minister reacted to this?
So, an FIR has not yet been registered at the Hoskas police station in Delhi. And he has referred to Sharma's statements as hate speech. And he requested that, an FIR be registered under sections of the BNS that relate to promoting enmity and prejudicial to national integration and so on. Yeah, so he basically wanted an FIR registered against these sections. And the Chief Minister, in turn, when he was asked about this, he hit out and he has criticized Harsh Mandar in the past as well. So he said that, Harsh Mandar has filed one complaint against me. Now just watch, I'm going to file at least 100 complaints against him because he, in the past, has also, hit out at Harsh Mandar, accusing him of distorting the NRC in Assam. And, he's raised allegations like, that he and colleagues helped create fake kin of people so that they could claim connections to enable their inclusion in the NRC. So that's what he said. So far, nothing has happened.
And now, after discussing the targeting of the Bengali Muslim community in Assam, we turn to another communally charged controversy that recently unfolded in Uttarakhand. Now, across several states, including Uttar Pradesh, Chhattisgarh, Madhya Pradesh, Gujarat, and Assam, members linked to the right-wing Hindu organization Bajrang Dal have been harassing minorities in various ways, from disrupting festive celebrations to encouraging boycotts of their businesses. Last week in Uttarakhand, a group of such men harassed a 70-year-old man over the name of his shop. But the situation took an unexpected turn when a man named Deepak Kumar stepped in to intervene. When we spoke to the Indian Express's Aiswarya Raj, she walked us through exactly what unfolded.
So, in Kotdwar, which is situated in Pauri Garhwal in Uttarakhand, on January 26th, Deepak Kumar, who is the owner of a gym, was with his friends at a shop in the market when he heard a scuffle going on next door. And he went there to see what was happening. And he saw that a 70-year-old shopkeeper, who is also suffering from Parkinson's disease, was being heckled by a group of 5-4 people.
This 70-year-old man was Vakil Ahmed. And the group of men were demanding that he change the name of his shop and remove the word Baba from it. The shop's name was Baba School Center.
एड्रेस 31 जो भी लिखवाना है, पर ये बाबा हटवाओ भी है, तो महाराज हमारे सिद्ध बाबा हैं, हमें उससे मतलब नहीं है, आप इसे चेंज करवाइए बाबा शब्द को.
So Deepak Kumar stood up to the mob. So he was asking them why they were insistent on asking the Baba to drop the name. And they said that it's a Hindu name and the Muslim man had no right to associate himself with such a name.
ये बाबा सुखबरी स्वीट्स वगैरह क्या है? वो सब हिंदू की दुकान है. मुसलमान क्या हो गया? मुसलमान
नहीं भैया बात सुनो ना, बाबा क्या है? क्या पहचान से अपने पहचान से कीजिए आप.
But the board that they were heckling over already had the name of the son of the shopkeeper. So they said that they had to give it prominently and they should give some other name to the shop. So when he intervened, they asked him why he was stepping in for someone like the Baba, and he said that he has been running the shop for 30 years, so why would he need to change the name now?
And this is when they asked him his name, to which he replied that it was Mohammad Deepak.
आपका नाम क्या भैया? अपना नाम?
मेरा नाम मोहम्मद दीपक है भाई.
मोहम्मद दीपक है आपका नाम. ठीक है, ओके. और बार के आप
मैं कोटद्वार का, तुझे नाम से क्या लेना मेरा?
So later on he says that it was a point to show that it is the right of every person in the country, no matter their religion, to exist freely in a public space. So that was his justification, rationale for standing up to the mob.
Now, the video of the incident was shot by the mob itself, and this video has since gone viral.
And that is when it captured so much attention. And even in Dehradun and Haridwar, where these groups are even more powerful, it started going viral and it circulated in their groups, and they started posting stories about the need to rein in someone like Deepak. So they have posted stories about gathering in Kotdwar 2 days from then and confronting him about what he had done. And on January 31, on Saturday, we had videos coming from Kotdwar of a large mob of, around more than 50 people gathering in front of his gym and abusing him, hurling such vile abuses about his family, about himself, about his another friend who was also in the video, Vijay Rawat. And, those Islamophobic words, hate words were used by the mob, and they were even assembled in front of the Baba shop, but it was closed on that day. So there was a tension, there was a communal frenzy in Kotdwar on that day. And this was also the same day the CM was visiting the town for another event. And there was already a lot of police protection, and the police tried to douse the situation, tried to disperse of the crowd, but they kept gathering in front of different areas in the market so as to show their opposition to the act of resistance. And even Deepak and his friend Vijay Rawat were taken to the police station so that they do not confront the mob or, the situation doesn't get out of hand.
Aishwarya says that since the incident, the police has registered 3 FIRs in the matter, including one based on the complaint filed by the shopkeeper Vakil Ahmed.
And that is against unknown people, and that was based on the incident happened on January 26th. And then the police registered another FIR on the complaint of an SI who was posted when the whole situation was happening in Kotdwar. So even though Deepak himself had filed a complaint with the police, they did not take cognizance of it. They instead filed an FIR on the basis of the complaint of their own officer. And this FIR is particularly interesting because it doesn't name anyone. It just says 30-40 unknown people. And even the contents of the FIR don't particularly mention anyone. They doesn't identify who was the mob, who were the members. It just says that there were many people from Dehradun and Haridwar. And the third FIR was registered against Deepak and his friend Vijay Rawat for promoting enmity, and this was registered on the complaint of a local in Kotdwar. And he was named in the FIR. It's not just a nameless complaint, but he was named in the FIR. So he faces an FIR now.
She says after the incident took place, the police have tightened the security in the area and have been deploying officers in large numbers there.
So when you enter Uttarakhand from Uttar Pradesh, Najibabad, you see a lot of barricades. You are screened before you enter the area, and then you have to go through the main market where there are multiple barricades. They are diverting traffic, and then there is this whole environment where the police is trying to diffuse the situation. But the police also, when they release press statements and when they speak to us, it seems like the police also see both of these parties on equal footing. Both of these are causing equal harm to the town. And even in front of the gym, they have been screening people who enter the gym. They have been deploying a lot of people, a lot of officers on the ground. And other than that, when I went around Kodwar to speak with people and what they felt, if they extended solidarity, it felt like the people in the market and in the neighborhood where Deepak lives, there is little support for him. And whatever support he has been, having is from the people who already know him, who are friends of his. And when I went to his house, his wife was also raising this concern that no one really dropped by to ask if he was feeling all right, if there was, a lack of security. And now he's also gotten the police protection. So I think it feels a bit better now. But the town itself has not responded in support of Deepak. They have said that he has unnecessarily created a problem. He shouldn't have gotten into the dispute. It should have been between the Bajrang Dal and the man, the shopkeeper.
Now, this entire matter has, of course, garnered reactions from the opposition as well, and which, as usual, has led to political mudslinging.
So Rahul Gandhi had tweeted in support of Deepak. He has spoken about it. And Congress here has also stood by him because Vijay Rawat is the Youth Congress president in the area, in the district. But other than that, other leaders have also extended support to him. And BJP has reacted completely differently. BJP has said that this was a premeditated attack, that, Deepak himself speaking up for the man was a premeditated move so that the Congress can have some momentum before the election. And the BJP state president here, Mahendra Bhatt, he has also criticized Rahul Gandhi for tweeting in support of Deepak. So we have also seen a lot of incidents in Dehradun, in Uttarakhand of late, be it the murder of Angel Chakma, a Tripura student, or the assault on Kashmiri shawl sellers. And recently the Congress is referring to all these incidents to say that or to imply that the situation is too communal, that BJP is engineering these conflicts so that they have popular support or, they can ride the communal wave into the elections.
And finally, we turn to West Bengal Chief Minister Mamata Banerjee appearing before the Supreme Court against the Election Commission's Special Intensive Revision. The TMC chief has been in the national capital over the past 3 days, where she has stepped up her party's campaign against the SIR. During this visit, she has directly targeted the Election Commission and Chief Election Commissioner Gyanesh Kumar, accusing his officers of being arrogant and of lying.
On Monday, she had a meeting with CEC Gyanesh Kumar, and she came out of the meeting, said that she has boycotted the meeting.
That's the Indian Express's Asad Rehman.
And that Gyanesh Kumar was rude to her and was being very arrogant. And she used the word that it seemed like she was his servant and that he was acting like a zamindar. He was treating the chief minister and the delegation as his servants. That was day one of Mamata Banerjee's visit in Delhi. Then on day two, which was Tuesday, she held a special press conference at Banga Bhavan in Chanakyapuri with around 100 people who the party had brought from Bengal to Delhi. And these people, the party claims, are SIR affected people. So which basically means there are two categories of people who've come from Bengal. One is people who've been declared dead under the SIR, and two is people whose family members have died during the SIR process due to pressure. So for example, the BLOs and the officials who've committed suicide or have died due to pressure, so their family members.
Now this was day 2, but yesterday, which was the day 3 of her visit, was perhaps the most interesting one.
It saw a sitting chief minister, probably for the first time, not only go to the Supreme Court, but argue in a case as a lawyer. So Mamata Banerjee has a law degree from a college in Calcutta. And as per her party people, she did practice law till 2003. Then she became a very, very active politician. She's now a 2-term chief minister. She's vying her 3rd term as the chief minister of West Bengal. So today, what we saw in the Supreme Court was something very unprecedented. It was very new. It was something that nobody's ever seen, that a chief minister goes to the court, stands along with her team of lawyers, asked the Chief Justice of India, who was hearing the SIR matter, and for time to speak. The Chief Justice of India replied, calling her Madam Mamata, that we will give you time and we will give you not 5 but 15 minutes. Mamata Banerjee spoke in detail. She leveled a host of allegations, which included that micro observers were being deployed in West Bengal and that was not being done in other states. That the ECI's main intention is to delete voters and not add voters during this SIR exercise in Bengal.
Sir, their SIR process is only for deletion, not for inclusion. Mismatch not only the title, sir. Mismatch, mismap, unplanned. Now suppose...
Then she has said that officials that are working in Bengal have associations with the BJP, and she also targeted the Election Commission of India, saying that this process, she says, something that should be done over a longer period of time and not just 3 months before the election, the SIR process. So essentially her argument to the court was that the court has to intervene and has to do something to, in her words, save democracy. She made some other points also, like, Bengalis' names have some things like, Chatterjee becomes a Chattopadhyay, Banerjee becomes a Bandopadhyay. So these things, she says, in the technical AI system is facing problems, is going into logical discrepancies section. And that she flagged as an issue with the SIR. And she said that Bengal was being specifically targeted by the ECI to delete voters, to diminish the chances of the TMC getting a fair chance in the upcoming state assembly elections in West Bengal. So that was briefly her arguments in the court. On her plea, the court did issue a notice to the Election Commission of India asking for their reply on certain points, and the matter will be heard again on Monday now. And interestingly, people in the TMC have already started confirming that Mamata Banerjee will be present in court as a lawyer once again on Monday during the next hearing. And it's a big message to the people of Bengal. And the message that the Trinamool Congress is trying to convey is that Mamata Banerjee, or they call her Didi, is here in Delhi fighting for the people of Bengal for the last 3 or 4 days that she's been in Delhi. And this is not a leader who's in the opposition. She's a ruling party leader. She is the chief minister. So for her to come here and to argue in the case, then to go to the EC and then to hold all these press conferences, confront Delhi police on multiple occasions, it sends a message to Bengal. Now, what happens in the elections is a completely different thing. But for now, the message that the TMC is trying to send to the people of Bengal is that Mamata Didi is fighting for Bengal in Delhi. She's gone to the court to fight. She's gone to the CEC. She's gone to different forums, press conferences, and that this is the fight for Bengali pride and to save democracy.
You were listening to 3 Things by the Indian Express. Today's show was written and produced by me, Shashank Bhargava, and was edited and mixed by Suresh Pawar. If you like the show, then do subscribe to us wherever you get your podcasts. You can also recommend the show to someone you think will like it, share it with a friend or someone in your family. It's the best way for people to get to know about us. You can tweet us at Express Podcasts and write to us at podcasts@indianexpress.com.